I'd like to call this commission meeting to order. We ready? We will begin this evening with our invocation from Teresa Lemming. Please come forward.
Heavenly Father, I ask you to bless our commissioners with favor, grace, wisdom, and insight. Lead and guide them in the way they should go to make Clay County, Missouri a great place to live, learn, work, and play. Strengthen them as they lead with vision and virtue. I thank you for your provisions and for your protections. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen.
Thank you. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Nolte?
Here.
Commissioner Withington? Here. Commissioner Lawson? Commissioner Wagner? Here. Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Thompson? Here. Commissioner Carpenter? Here.
That brings us to approval of this evening's agenda. Is there a motion? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion has been made for the approval of this evening's agenda. Any discussion? I do have one thing. The first, under ceremonial matters, the proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month, that is 2026-87. I would like us to move to our next meeting. There was a conflict that arose with the folks who were going to be here to receive that honorary, that proclamation, that honorary matter. So I'd like to move that to 2 weeks from now, since we do not meet next week, if I'm correct. So that would be 2 weeks from this evening. Anything further? Very well. You're recognized to close.
I will close.
With the
change in 2026-87 to 2 weeks from now.
Thank you very much. Further discussion, seeing none, has been closed. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. First item, actually first and now only item under ceremonial matters is 2026-88. Mr. Administrator, if you'd like to introduce that, and then I will recognize Commissioner Withington.
Yes, 2026-88 honorary resolution, Autism Acceptance Month, April 2026. And we have Commissioner Withington with additional information.
Thank you. Commissioner Withington, you are recognized.
Yeah, so this is actually the first time Clay County has issued a resolution for Autism Acceptance Month. So I'll go ahead and start by reading it. Whereas April is recognized across the United States as Autism Acceptance Month, a time dedicated to promoting understanding, acceptance, and support for individuals on the autism spectrum and their families. And whereas, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, approximately 31 children in the United States are identified with autism spectrum disorder, highlighting the importance of awareness, early identification, and access to supportive services. And whereas the 2026 theme for Autism Acceptance Month, Celebrate Differences, reminds us that individuals on the autism spectrum bring unique perspectives, talents, and strengths that enrich our schools, workplaces, and community. And whereas early intervention, supportive education, and compassionate services play a vital role in helping individuals with autism build communication skills, confidence, independence, and meaningful relationships. And whereas registered behavioral technicians, RBTs, and board-certified behavioral analysts, BCBAs, serving within the North Kansas City School District provide specialized and individualized support that helps students with autism strive in the classroom and reach important development milestones. And whereas Easter Seals Midwest continues its long-standing commitment to serving families throughout our region, providing therapies, programs, and resources that empower individuals with autism and other disabilities to live fuller, more independent lives. And whereas the Clay County Commission recognizes that behind every milestone achieved by a child are dedicated professionals, educators, therapists, and activists whose compassion, patience, and expertise make those success possible. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clay County Commission hereby proclaims April 2026 as Autism Acceptance Month in Clay County, Missouri, and proudly recognizes the RBTs and BCBAs of the North Kansas City School District and the staff and leadership of Easter Seals Midwest for their outstanding dedication to supporting individuals with autism and strengthening families throughout our community. Be it further resolved that the Clay County Commission encourages all residents of Clay County to celebrate differences, promote acceptance, and continue building a community where individuals with autism are supported, valued, and given every opportunity to succeed. So tonight we have joining us members of the Easter Seals organization and the North Kansas City Early Education Center. Somebody that I know has worked for years with autistic kids, and you can see the difference that they've made. And I'm just glad that we're able to finally do something as a county commission to promote autism awareness. So thank you to everybody for coming tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm going to go around and we'll do comments from any commissioners who wish to chime in on this subject, and then anyone who is here from the organizations, please take the microphone and come up and tell us your story, because this is an important story. As someone who has an autistic child in our family, I've got to tell you this is so important. It means the world. Often the people who have children in this situation do not have the resources to really handle it, and not to mention the fact, the expertise that you folks bring. I visited the facility earlier this year, and the folks at Easter Seals were kind enough to invite me along to the Jefferson City trip that they made, to where we could basically lobby legislators because of the circumstances that have kind of come to pass over some other legislation. I won't go into detail, but there have been some threatened reductions in funding to Easter Seals. It is really important that we protect that funding and we protect those people. There are more and more people that have this condition, this situation. When I first became a state representative, the very first issue that we were working on was the First Steps program, and how do we restore it under the pressure of a gubernatorial veto. We were able to work together, and it was very heartwarming that the people that came together on this issue were of all sorts. It clearly cut way across partisan lines, which is as it should be. And I was just honored to be down there and be able to do whatever I could do to get us in front of some of these legislators. If anybody wants to speak on that later, on the current state of that legislation, my understanding is it got through the House and it is currently in the Senate. So I would certainly be interested in any kind of an update if that is something that that somebody would like to go ahead and address. But no, it's the other thing that I think I would like to say is awareness is huge. The sooner that we can identify someone with autism or any developmental disability, it is so much easier to start working on that process and making sure that they are brought to the highest level of ability that they can attain. We need to make sure that we are caring for them. We need to be vigilant on how it is that we protect these people who can be so vulnerable. And the other thing that I find very heartwarming is going to like the sheltered workshops and seeing just how functional and how well they adapt to work and to basically living lives that are that are fulfilling. So thank you very much for the work that you're doing. There are so many out there. There's so much need to be addressed. I also want to say thank you to our own DDRB. We have some folks here from that board. I'm pretty proud of the idea that we have different organizations that are working in this endeavor. and that they are working to make the lives better for folks who have developmental disabilities. So thank you very much for being here. We certainly are happy to acknowledge Autism Month, Autism Acceptance Month. So are there any other commissioners wishing to speak? Commissioner Carpenter.
Thank you. I just want to echo those sentiments and thank both commissioners for their remarks and for the resolution from Commissioner Withington. And just want to extend my thanks as well to the people who are advocating and working hard in this space, and that includes the folks from DDRB, some of which were just here. It's good to see you all again. And ran into Clay and everybody who works to serve vulnerable populations, I think, deserve our daily gratitude. So, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak from the commission? Very well, we'll go ahead and recognize anybody from the floor. As you're making your way up, make sure the green light is on, state your name, and then address your comments to the commission. So please proceed.
Green light is on. Thank you guys for having us tonight. My name is Clay Berry. I'm Vice President of Programs for Easter Seals Midwest. This is Casey Melancon. She's our Autism Director here in KC. She's over 2 clinics, soon to be 3 clinics in the greater Kansas City area, and we're doing as much as we can to impact people and their families that have autism. I want to thank the county and thank the commission for this important recognition. You mentioned some of the data, Commissioner Withingham, that it's growing, and we're tracking that and doing everything we can to support families in the area. Easter Seals serves over 25,000 people with intellectual and developmental disabilities over the bi-state area, and hundreds of folks right here in Clay County, both kids and adults that are impacted by autism and their families. And not just at the shelter workshops. Of course, a lot of folks that we support do work there, but at places of business all over the county, you'll run into folks, and sometimes you can tell, sometimes it's a little hidden, and those are folks that we've helped. It is critical to have the support of the Developmental Disability and Resource Board here in Clay County that helps us do what we do and grow and continue to reach the increasing need. You also mentioned the First Steps program. Appreciate your work on that, Commissioner Nolte. It is important work or support that helps support us and what we're doing and many of the other providers. And additionally, I would say that Liberty Schools and North Kansas City Schools and others throughout the Northland have really strong programs to support this population, and we have strong partnerships with them to ensure that when high school's over, that they know the next couple steps in their lives. But most important is early intervention, and we know that the sooner that you provide the right therapies and the right supports for kids with autism, the more successful they can be in the classroom and the more independent they can be in life thereafter. So again, thank you guys for your recognition and your support. I do want to mention that for anybody that knows anybody with autism, we're one of 4 providers in the country right here in Clay County that are doing cutting edge early intervention testing for the youngest age possible. The FDA has just expanded that. So, and we don't have a waiting list for that, unlike some other areas that have a waiting list. So please tell anybody that's having difficulty accessing services to call us, and we'd be glad to help. Glad to answer any questions. Otherwise, we just thank you guys for the time and the recognition tonight.
By the way, and I don't want to take you too far off subject, but one of the things in our particular case was we had a member of the extended family who had some knowledge of autism and how it manifests itself. And we were lucky enough to have that person observe this individual in our family as an infant. And they were able to pick up on the way they tracked watching a ceiling fan, which I thought was fascinating. It would not have dreamed of that. Can you give us just kind of something that if parents observe these kind of behaviors that they might want to explore further? Can you give us some kind of, because I want to also use this not just as a congratulations, but as a learning tool for those parents who are wondering.
Absolutely. So some of those early signs do involve fixating on different objects that your, quote, neurotypical individuals would not. So the spinning fans, bright lights. Oftentimes individuals on the spectrum are focusing on something that may be behind you and not focusing on that actual social interaction piece. Those are big telltale signs. Responding to their name, making eye contact with their parents, Again, fixating on objects like that, definitely some big markers, especially during those infancy prior to the age of 1. So the earliest we do diagnostic testing is 16 months, and it was just expanded up to age 8. So again, happy to help anybody that may be looking for some of those services diagnostic-wise.
The other thing is, I mean, if you could, and I'd like you to say it for the, just for those who are listening, but if you could, before you leave, provide the administrator with the contact information where people can go if they have concerns, we can make it part of our minutes, and we can, I see this as a dissemination process because it is hard to overestimate the importance of, as you say, early diagnosis. So go ahead and give us your contact information on how someone would proceed, if you don't mind. And then before you leave, if you could make sure that information gets to our administrator, I think that would be helpful.
Absolutely. Contacting me directly, Casey Melancon. My direct line is 816-891-2930. That is the best way to get a hold of me. So happy to help anybody.
Commissioner Withington, I believe you were, I'm sorry, did you have anything else to?
You had asked that we speak to the public policy issue in Missouri. I'm glad to do that for just 1 second.
Of course, please proceed.
The governor's initial comments on the budget recommended about a third cut to some programs that support adults with autism and other intellectual developmental disabilities. And as you mentioned, that was restored, so to speak, in the House, and it's in the Senate right now. So I do want to plug, we've got some excellent advocacy tools on our website for just the everyday parents and other folks that can connect you right to your local legislature and help you with the language and give you that messaging to ensure that that all of us continue to have the support that we need to provide the best services. So I'd encourage folks to go to eastersealsmidwest.com and check that out and look for us. And again, we'll give the information to folks, but glad to be here. Thank you.
And by the way, I need to go to Commissioner Withington here, but I just want to say also that if you run into some reluctant legislators, if you could, I can only speak for myself, but I think the rest of the commission would not object, and that is if you could say, Representative Smith or Jones or whatever seems to not be understanding the issue quite right. I think many of us would be happy to call and advocate on behalf of this. I certainly would, because it's just plain the right thing to do.
I appreciate that. There's going to be challenging times related to disability in the next couple budget years, and we're well aware of that. And Casey and I were in Topeka just the other day, and then a couple weeks ago, we had a strong team down in Jeff City. So if we run into a roadblock, we'll call you, Commissioner Nolte. Appreciate that.
Please do. You've got my number. Yeah. Commissioner Withington.
Yeah, hey, thank you for coming. When I sent you guys the invite, you guys were real quick to get back to us. So, and then thank you again to North Kansas City School District for also sending your guys, your representatives tonight too. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the group that would like to speak to the commission? I'm sorry, were you folks concluded?
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission? Oh, good. All right, well, seeing none, we will, and let me ask, what is our best way? Should we all gather in front of the dais? Is that going to be okay? Very good. So we will stand at ease for a moment, and we will have a picture and then hand out the certificates. Okay, very well. That concludes ceremonial matters. That brings us to reports. I believe we have one report. Mr. Administrator, if you would introduce that, and then we will introduce our guest.
Yes, good evening. We have our Opioid Oversight Task Force Committee Annual Report. From our Clay County Health Department, we have Daryl Meineke. He's going to present, I think, our first report that we've ever had regarding this opioid task force.
All right, Daryl Meineke, Director of Public Health for Clay County. So thank you for having me tonight. I am also the chair of the Opioid Settlement Oversight Committee. All right, so if you all remember, had the opioid task force, settlement task force that was created. We came up with a plan to delineate some funds to different organizations. As soon as you guys passed that committee task force disbanded, then you created this new task force to develop kind of annual reports, have oversight for those funds on an annual basis. And so this is the first report in that series. So the plan got adopted early 2025. I don't think funds went out until mid 2025. So this is about 6 months of the funding and the results from that funding. So we will go from here. All right, so we've got several folks that were on the committee, as well as folks that received funding throughout this process as well. So I wanted to put it in an annual report type format. We continue to get feedback, just hearing through the grapevine, especially with Sheriff Aiken. He's been really favorable. He apologizes he couldn't be here tonight, but he hears all over the place, different counties saying, hey, what are you guys doing for opioids? And he starts to tell them, and they're like, man, you guys are doing some great stuff. So wanted to put it in an annual report type format that's a little bit more dispensable, so that looks a little bit more polished, so people can kind of take a look at that and see the results of what we're doing. So if you're looking at this page here, so page 3, so this is the members of the task force, or the committee, I'm sorry. So we've got a very diverse group of individuals that you all appointed to that task, or to the committee. I keep having the task force name in my head, I apologize. Then these are the organizations that received the funding. So Beacon Mental Health for peer support staff, and some funding for housing and transportation. Clay County Office of Dispute Resolution for some juvenile drug testing and youth programming. Northland Coalition got really creative on some mini grants. There's a lot of great stuff in the back end of the report I'll talk about on that front. And then the Clay County Public Health Center got a little bit of funding to increase Narcan distribution for vending machines. So looking at page 5, the total funding that went out for this year, $192,000 and some change. There's the breakdown and who got the money and the amounts that they got. I wanted to make sure that we had that separation between treatment and prevention. So $111,000 of that went to treatment, a little over $81,000 went to prevention, and so there's the percentage breakdown there. We wanted to look at some direct funding impact, or funding for direct impact, I should say. So these activities reached many more people than the 7,686 people. But if you look at Narcan distributed, if you look at youth, parents educated on different topics, that's the total that we went with, and that's for the total amount. So cost breakdown per direct contact individual, $25.02. And kind of a prevention return on investment calculator that we use in public health is around $14 per dollar spent is the financial return on investment. Some things are a little bit less than that, some things are much more, but that's a good buffer if you're just kind of talking about general return on investment. So we start with Beacon Mental Health, Housing, and Transportation. So lots of great numbers. Try to make this report just very kind of in your face, straightforward, looking at some numbers. One of the great things as I was putting this report together, I saw the scooters repaired, and I was like, man, that is a really interesting way to address transportation. And if you think somebody, that one person that has that scooter, maybe they had some sort of issue with it, but that could be their transportation to work or to the grocery store or whatever it may be. But that's the level of ingenuity that their team went towards to help individuals. Okay. Peer support services. So these numbers are, I would say, a little bit lower than what we expected, but there is a reason. So funding started in June. Then there was the development between Clay County Sheriff's Office and Beacon to get that program kind of started. I think they had a little bit of staffing turnover, so really by the end of the year, they got that filled. We're seeing some individuals, but there was some really great success stories out of this. And so, not going to read through either of these stories specifically, but as you look at them, think about the impact to the individual, and then also the story tells kind of the impact that they had on their family as well, or somebody else in their family. And so this just doesn't stop with that one person that's struggling or has some challenges. It often impacts the entire family. Okay, so there's the second story. So Narcan vending machines for us at Clay County, that little map there shows all of our distribution locations by the end of 2025. We had 3 starting out. Funding got us to around 7.5 machines more to purchase, so we kicked in a little bit more, made it an even 8. Wanted to increase our locations, so we have the locations listed there. And so a little over 4,500 doses of Narcan were distributed. And then we also included fentanyl test strips in that as well. So we, as the health department, get those for free. So that funding went directly to purchase the machines that we put it in, and we still have that funding available to get free Narcan and fentanyl test strips to continue on. Office of Dispute Resolution, so juvenile drug testing and youth programs. Again, this was kind of the second half of the year, some challenges getting some things started. So 6 individuals drug tested, 34 youth and parents went through the program. Really good return there. And then we get to the Northland Coalition mini grants awarded. So there's a long list of these: Excelsior Spring Safe, the Possibility Project, Excelsior Spring Safe again. So hospital psychiatric services, play and group therapy, Liberty Alliance for Youth, Tuned In Series, North Kansas City Health, Garlic Breath Can Kill, but so can one pill, Northland Heal, Smithville Community in Action, All-Star Substance Use Education as a trading card program, and then some other Northland Coalition identified mini grants that helped strengthen the system. So we'll jump into those and talk about those a little bit. But overall, kind of this page is about what came from those mini grants. So 6 different organizations, 9 different coalition initiative grants, a little over 3,000 individuals directly impacted because of the education and programming, over 350,000 billboard impressions, 26,000 internet and radio impressions, over 200,000 social media impressions. So really good outreach on that, on those initiatives. So the Possibility Project. So this was supported by the Excelsior Springs High School students by increasing school connection, belonging, and access to meaningful extracurricular experiences during a year of program redevelopment. And so 80 students were served in this, and through that process, 100% of those students increased their belonging on the report out. So next, hospital psychiatric services therapy. So this is great because it centers around pediatric psychiatric services, so that is definitely a gap. By creating a developmentally appropriate play and group therapy environment for children at risk of substance use due to trauma and adverse childhood experiences. So 41 youth served in that, and again, ages 5 to 15. Liberty Alliance for Youth Tuned In Series. So this delivered parent education workshops focused on youth wellness, communication, brain development, and substance use prevention to 212 caregivers. And there was post-evaluations. So again, 212 caregivers were directly impacted, and then 61% of them increased their confidence after that training. In KC Health, so this interactive opioid prevention session engaged 24 high school students through hands-on education, Narcan training, and healthy coping activities, culminating in a service learning project in a community garden setting. So again, that is 24 high school students, but they got hands-on experience to correlate with that education and give back to the community. Northland CAPS, Northland Heal. provided opioid overdose prevention and Narcan awareness education to 40 middle and high school students through interactive classroom lessons and school-wide outreach. So again, it's hitting the youth in kind of those two critical transition periods. Middle school is really tough, high school is also really tough, and so just being able to reach 40 of those students was really critical. Another cool program, so All-Stars Substance Use Education. I've seen this in other districts, but this was a trading card series. So a peer mentorship program recruited and trained 38 substance-free high school seniors to serve as visible role models for younger students across the Smithville School District. And so made trading cards and I think posters and things like that. So those 38 substance-free seniors made that commitment to then serve as role models. Really great. A lot of younger kids look up to those individuals, and to see them on posters, maybe they aspire to make that commitment themselves. Northland Coalition support families and practical prevention tools. So prevention outreach efforts were aimed at family-focused resource distribution, youth skill building initiatives, and community education events. And so through that process, a little over 1,200 kits were distributed. Again, build youth skills and peer connections, so youth programming. This one emphasized connection, resilience, and peer support. The Junior Hope Squad convened students and advisors from multiple school districts for a collaborative day focused on leadership, gratitude, anti-bullying, and school-wide prevention strategies, with post-event evaluations showing strong gains in knowledge, competence, and readiness to support peers. This one is around training and prevention, so this allowed some of their staff to go to trainings and conferences, so you have to have the individuals to be able to have that knowledge to then be able to transfer on to other folks. And then public awareness and community engagement. So this is a lot of social media work here too, but I attended this day here. So the public health or public awareness efforts extended the reach of prevention messaging far beyond in-person activities, but National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day brought community members together to hear from individuals with lived experience, connect with local resources, and receive naloxone training. So that was a really good event over at Beacon Mental Health. The room was packed, lots of good feedback on that event as well. So that's it for the data, but there's a lot of folks worked really hard on these activities. To develop the program first, I'd like to thank the folks on that committee, and then also the individuals that worked to make all that work happen, right? So getting out in the community, all that grassroots effort on the mini grants, that's how stuff really starts sometimes. Something takes hold, it can be replicated. The community members make those things happen. It's meaningful to them. You saw all the diverse programs that come along. Yeah. Be happy to entertain any questions you have.
I'll go, Commissioner, did you? Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Wagner.
Sure. Well, first of all, Daryl, thanks for being here this evening and going through the report. I was curious if we could go back to the Beacon numbers that you started with, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure you dwelled on it long enough. Why don't I say that? And part of the reason I say that is I think when you talk about, there you go. When you talk about things like emergency hotel stays and Uber rides, and they see that and they see the client served, but maybe not quite making the connection between the importance of funding the Uber rides and the scooter repairs and the cars repaired. And so whether you or if someone else wants to touch on that, I think just explaining why those things are important and why, as a committee, it was thought, that's really important to do. If you can kind of dwell on that just for a moment, that would be great.
Sure, yeah, especially in transportation and housing. Folks are just one paycheck away a lot of times, or one critical instance away from a life-changing event. That may make them relapse, that may make them go down a path that they don't want to go down. So if you're looking at emergency hotel stays, it may just be the transition from when they're going from one location to another. Or Uber rides, it may just be able to get them to work while their car is getting fixed. May it be an application fee to get into a new place for housing, or something like that. Cars repaired, car repairs are expensive. To have even a flat tire could be detrimental, let alone something major happen to your vehicle. So that's really what it comes down to. The housing and transportation components, I know that a lot more money could do a lot more good in that area, but it is just to help make sure that those individuals don't have a critical misstep.
Right, that then causes them to go back.
Correct.
And use, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Darrell, for being here again and for all your work on this. I think I spoke to this a little bit when we first were envisioning the conception of this entity. And I grew up with a brother who had a serious drug problem for a lot of years. And to the point of Commissioner Wagner, that my favorite slide was the $1, $14. And I know that is ultimately, there's ultimately some guesswork involved in producing a number like that, but I think the concept is what's important, which is that the amount of harm that is done to families and productivity, and anybody who has any kind of tangential connection to somebody with a serious drug problem is significant, and we ought to be doing more, not less, in investing in, as a society, in remedying these things. My brother died when he was 20, and but the story didn't end there. The impacts on the family have been years long, and a lot of years led up to that as well, so a lot of years beforehand. And we really got to do more. This is, one thing we're doing. I'm glad we got the settlement money. Hopefully more settlement money is coming down the pike that we can put toward these endeavors, but we got to stay on top of this as an issue. The good news is, I think, hopefully you can confirm this as a public health guy, but it seems like we've come down from the peak of some of our overdose death statistics from a couple years ago. And so I would be curious, how you see that going into the future, what kind of trajectory you think we're on.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
One, yes, the numbers have come down on overdose deaths. We still have more work to do, obviously. Our last meeting, Sheriff Aiken spoke about the decrease in fentanyl in the Kansas City area, Kansas City region. So pills aren't as prevalent now. Powder is still out there. It is actually shifting to PCP and what was the other one? Is anybody else? 7-OH is one of them. But yeah, so it's always going to shift a little bit. So these prevention strategies help kind of overall with some of these strategies, not just opioids, but that's kind of why we went down this path. And so on the funding level, you're right, more funding is potentially coming down the line. But the way that you all set up this committee was to adopt this plan for 5 years. So there's 4 more report out years in this. Then we will and we come together each year to kind of evaluate and report on that. Before year 5 ends, we'll have a deeper evaluation to see what is kind of the emerging issues, if we need to change direction, shift that money, put more money towards some initiatives. Right now, this initial plan, we didn't quite know what we were getting into, but we wanted to have a sustainable plan over the whole 18 to 20 years of this funding, right? So if we know that all of it's front-loaded and we know it's going to be in the bank a little bit sooner, maybe we can bump up some of those initiatives to have a little bit more push on the front end instead of just throwing like $200,000 at it every year. So we'll take a look at that. A really great group of thoughtful individuals, professionals in their fields. So I'm not worried about what that plan will look like when we come down to that point, but looking forward to the kind of the ingenuity that they will work on those things. So a lot of great ideas were brought up.
Yeah, very good. And I know we discussed this a little bit before, but I certainly support front-loading to whatever extent the financials allow that to happen. Because we know we've got the crisis now. We don't know what the crisis will be in 15 or 20 years, but we know we've got it now. A lot of people dying still. And so the more we can save, the sooner, the better. So, and I appreciate your work on it, and everybody who has served in any capacity on this. Thank you.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yeah, just a major big thank you to you and the staff and everybody on the committee. You know, when we moved to Clay County, our son was very young, and you moved here because you thought, oh my gosh, what a safe, great place to bring your kid up, so rural and all of that. But you've seen it change over the years drastically, and it's a little bit scary. So while we always think we're so special up here, we're right in the middle of it, just like everybody else. So I sincerely appreciate everything that you've done, and I hope that we can continue to support you in your work.
Yeah, I had a couple. One of the things that is, and Commissioner Carpenter kind of touched on that, and that is the effect of not just the individual who is suffering under that particular addiction or that particular burden, but the families and the community at large, the suffering and the pain that it brings to families. And I don't mean to be insensitive, Commissioner, but the thing is, it radiates out. So the circles come very far out. And on the other part of that is there's going to be some increase in criminality related around illegal drugs. So I'm glad the sheriff is involved in this, because that's the expertise skill set that he brings to the table to this. Could you tell us a little bit about he's clearly, has other obligations that he needs to attend to, but can you give us just kind of an inkling of how that is addressed?
So every meeting that he comes to, he just kind of gives us a brief of what's emerging, what they're seeing in real time. So that provides a great perspective for us to say, hey, do we need to change direction? And then, if we did see a drastic change, I know that we kind of went this 5-year period with this plan. I mean, we want to make sure that these organizations are secure in their funding. But if something drastic popped up, I mean, I would think that we could definitely take a look at that in the shorter term too.
Well, I think you also, there was something that I'm picking up on, is that it is a fluid and a changing situation.
Absolutely.
Out of curiosity, what does your group see? Is there something that as you did a deeper dive into this, and seeing the scooter repair thing tells me you were doing a pretty deep dive into all this. Do you see anything that is like, well, we had no idea that this would be the case, or is it a little surprising, or is there anything that you could relate to us? Because we would, as you went into it originally, we would also perhaps have some of those other preconceived notions that may or may not be accurate. So could you kind of tell us what you discovered as far as a surprising part of this issue?
I think when we were going through the development process, it was about a 5-page document that had kind of the general overview of things that initiatives that could potentially be funded from the opioid settlement funding. And so we really looked at what was going on in the community at that time, to say which one of those are evidence-based, which one are in Clay County, impacting Clay County, and not spread out all over the Northland, because we wanted those dollars to be funded right here, right? So we felt like we settled in a really good spot. And nothing really surprising, other than just kind of the diversity of the types of things that were funded for kind of the Beacon housing and transportation stuff. But that's life, different things pop up. So again, just having maybe 6 months of outcomes, it's tough to say, hey, something was more surprising, one thing was more surprising than another.
By the way, I'm kind of fascinated about your mini grants, because many times in these situations, there are blocks that go to organizations, and I think the fact that you guys are focusing on such a wide variety of types of recipients, and that you are, I guess what I'm thinking is, what might appear to be a small amount of money can make a huge difference if put into the right hands, and that seems to me to be the concept behind the mini grants that you folks generate. Could you give us an idea of what range of dollars those grants would be in the form of, just broadly?
If you
I
want
didn't mean to get you to do deeper questions.
What I will say is we had nothing to do with that. Northland Coalition drove all of that. They're an incredible organization. They facilitated all of the application process, so those were applications that were submitted. They had their evaluation process, and then once they saw some funding was still out there, then they said, hey, what systematically can we plug in that we see as professionals' weakness? So it's a lot of North Lane Coalition, a lot of Beacon mental health staff are on that coalition. So it is all credit to them. I take no credit for the outcomes that they've accomplished in that. So
Very much a team effort, it would appear.
yes, absolutely.
Could you introduce, because there are a number of people here who are, I assume, part of the committee, could you just kind of, we'd like to recognize you, even, if you want to come up and speak, that would be great too, but not everybody is comfortable with that. But please, let us at least be able to give you credit.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Emily Barnes, and I serve as the secretary for the North End Coalition, but I also am the technical assistance provider at Beacon Mental Health, so I'm contracted to do the work. Nice to see you again, Commissioner Wagner. So the way that we administrated these mini grants, like he said, is we found our local partners, especially this first year, the funding period was so short, our local partners that are already doing really great work but may not have the funding to do opioid prevention. We opened the application to everybody, every organization in Clay County, but had to do some specific asking on that first round, and basically just gave them the opportunity to expand what they're already doing, or maybe get creative with some of those ideas like that pediatric psychiatric care, it was an incredible program for them. And this year, so last year we gave out $30,000 in those mini grants. We had 6 applicants, 6 received. This year we had just awarded 10 mini grants and $31,000 in funding. So we doubled our applicants from last year. Outcomes were incredible. We had more applications than we could fund this year. So we do have some money that the North End Coalition is going to support some of those organizations as well. We'll continue to do that. But we have an incredible board and committee that couldn't be here tonight, but I am one person in the grand scheme of the North End Coalition that was able to put money directly in. Clay County, we created medication safety toolkits for families, which provide information on opioid overdose prevention. We provided Narcan, deterrent drug disposal bags, 988 resource list to other places in Kansas City and just in Clay County in general. So that was one small impact. And to answer the question about what was surprising on our end, and I think in prevention, it seems really easy to reach a lot of people, but as a parent myself, going to a parent education tuned in series, that's one more thing I have to do. But the fact that we reached 212 individual families blew our minds. That Liberty Alliance for Youth was ecstatic that they reached 212. And with that, another one of our coalitions in Clay County has decided to mimic that in the North Kansas City School District. So they'll be employing that with their opioid funding this next year. So there's a lot of surprises on our end, but it's just surprising to see when you make that direct call to people. We get 212 parents in one instance that want to come get our programming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Trish Lewis, and I work at the Clay County Prosecutor's Office. And all of the thanks and appreciation should go to our partners who were funded the money during this project. They've done an amazing amount of work. They've touched so many individuals, and I'm just very thankful to be a part of it. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you. Any closing comments before we, and I'll go to Daryl, and if he has anything he wants to do on a summation, but are there any other commission comments before we move forward? Daryl, if you'd like to go ahead and just kind of give us any sort of summation, and we'll call it a report.
Oh, no, just thanks for your continued support on these initiatives. Look forward to continue to work with the committee and see what we can do in the future.
Thank you for your service. That brings us to public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to comment? If you do, make sure the green light is on, state your name, and then address the commission. And who is this stranger who approaches?
There's Tracy Baldwin, Clay County Assessor. Tonight I wanted to stand up not just as the assessor, but as a taxpayer of Clay County. In the past, I've came to this commission and I've discussed how taxes and how assessments are completely different and how they work together. Tonight, I want to give a brief overview of some of the tax incentive programs of Clay County. Tax increment financing, or TIF. The impacts of this on individual taxpayers doesn't get talked about very much. However, with recent discussions of this commission, and the new proposal of the next data center in Clay County, I would like to bring a few thoughts about abated property in Clay County and what that means to an individual taxpayer. Clay County has approximately $230 million of assessed value, or $1.1 billion in appraised value in TIF. Property that has some sort of abatement in Clay County is approximately $127 million. If you add the two together, it's a total of $1.3 billion. And I'm not the best at calculating taxes, but the way I've calculated it, that's about $250 to $300 per real estate taxpayer, less that they would owe. I know this commission does not have much say or control over city abatements, but I believe there should be discussions with our municipalities in Clay County as a commission to see if this is our best options for our community. That should always be our thought. What is best for the community? Like a data center. Is that the best option for Clay County? We already have 8 data centers in Clay County in various stages of construction. The 9th was talked about here in Liberty and it's on its way. And by the way, a $1.5 billion project in taxes would generate roughly $38 million a year. Again, to equate that to taxpayers, I roughly estimated that's $350 to $450 per household. Again, I just wanted this commission to be aware of this, especially when we appoint anyone to any kind of a board, let alone a tax incentive board. The easiest thing that any commissioner should ask ourselves or themselves, who is going to best represent my community and what is going to be the best thing for my community, period. No other reasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen wishing to come forward to make comment to the commission? Seeing none. That brings us to our consent agenda. Mr. Administrator?
Yes, good evening. We have 2 items on our consent agenda tonight. First one is 2026-85, approval of invoice payments for Clay County for the period of March 14th through March 20th of 2026. Had a total of 227 invoices totaling $1,048,956.51. The other one is commission meeting minutes for January 15th of 2026. That'd be it for the consent agenda.
Discussion? Commissioner Wagner.
Yes, move to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Motion has been made for the approval of this evening's consent agenda. Discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. That brings us to our regular agenda. First item on this evening's regular agenda is 2026-86. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, 2026-86, approval of invoice payments for Clay County Prosecutor's Office for the period of March 14th through March 20th of 2026. Had a total of 9 invoices totaling $870.25.
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Move to approve 2026-86.
Motion been made for the approval of 2026-86. Discussion. Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
I recuse myself.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 4 in favor, 1 recusal.
Next on the regular agenda are a group of related issues, 2026-89, 2026-90, 2026-91, and 2026-92. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, as just mentioned, the next 4 items are related to our pavement analysis. We have our Road and Bridge Director, Tom Degenhardt, here to speak more on that. But 2026-89, 90, 91, and 92, he'll speak to additional information regarding those items.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Tom Degenhardt, Road and Bridge Director. These next 4 resolutions are included together as one presentation. They include Resolution 2026-89 for asphalt overlay to Superior Bowen in the amount of $2,753,390.40. Resolution 2026-90 for pavement markings to Heartland Traffic in the amount of $167,000, $167,547.50. Resolution 2026-91 for chip seal to Vance Brothers in the amount of $981,994. And Resolution 2026-92 for microsurfacing to Vance Brothers in the amount of $878,886.18. This slide shows the cost comparison between the different types of treatments on a per centerline amount and the number of centerline miles for each in this year's program. One thing I do want to note and call out to you guys is we occasionally get calls from people who want to upgrade their roads from chip seal to asphalt. For this conversion, we use 3 inches of asphalt over an existing chip seal street that's in fairly good condition. And as you can see, the cost of upgrading is 4 times the amount of just doing chip seal. So we can do more with by not doing the upgrade. The next few slides are going to show photos of the treatments on the roads for this year's program. So a 2-inch asphalt overlay is the typical treatment for existing asphalt pavement that does not have curbs. This particular road is in the Grant Hills subdivision off A Highway. And as you can see, this road has not been treated since it was constructed in 1994 or 32 years ago. And that's remarkable that it's in the condition it's in, to be honest with you. And we're doing all the roads in this subdivision. The next one is this road's in Johnson Ridge subdivision off Northeastern. Because this road does have curbs, we must mill off 2 inches of the existing asphalt before we replace it to maintain the same elevation. There are also 2 ADA ramps in this subdivision that we must bring to current federal standards. And as you can see, this road has not been treated since it was constructed in 2006 or 20 years ago. We are systematically trying to upgrade some of our secondary arterial roads from chip seal to asphalt, the more heavily traveled ones. This upgrade requires 3 inches of asphalt, and the road should be in fairly good condition. This slide shows Rains Road from Nebo Hills to 84th Street, and as you can see, we have chip sealed the street 5 times in the last 12 years. Today, it's in fairly good condition, so it's ready to be upgraded to asphalt. New pavement markings are placed on roads with a speed limit of 35 miles per hour or faster and only on asphalted or microsurface roads. We are also placing new pavement markings on Plattsburgh Road from northeast 112th Street to northeast 144th Street. This particular slide shows Plattsburgh Road, and these markings are 7 years old, which is about the life expectancy of paint on a road. And Plattsburgh Road is scheduled for microsurfacing in 2029. Chip seal, approximately 163 centerline miles or 43% of our roads are chip sealed. Typical life expectancy of a chip seal street is currently 4 to 6 years. This slide shows Lancaster Road between H Highway and northeast 108th Street. This stretch of road is in too poor condition to be upgraded to asphalt this year. Our hope is to chip seal it this year and possibly upgrade it to asphalt in 2029. Microsurfacing, this is northeast 134th Terrace, also in the Johnson Ridge subdivision. With the exception of northeast 134th Street, which I showed previously, all roads in the subdivision are getting microsurfaced. This will seal up the cracks in the pavement and give the road a new fresh look. This treatment typically extends the life of the road 5 to 7 years. Any questions?
Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you, and thanks for the presentation, Tom. My memory isn't as good as it used to be, and so I cannot remember what our pricing was for last year. And so I was curious to know what kind of pricing or the rise in pricing, if there is one.
Sure.
As compared to last year.
I'm sorry. So last year, from last year to this year, there was a 50 cents per ton increase. Basically this year we're paying 85.30 a ton, and we're doing about 1,100 tons.
Okay, so.
And then same with micro. Micro, there's a 20 cent, went from like 370 to 390. There's, incremental upgrades.
Sure, so if I do the math in my head, roughly 5%, 3 to 5% increase? between this year and last year?
You know, I'm an engineer, but I can't do that math in my head.
I know. Well, you know, I'm not anywhere close to it, so somebody was just curious to try to understand what kind of expense rise we're seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and you know, now with fuel prices going up, we might see another increase in the near future, so.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for doing this. You know, I know that this commission's made it abundantly clear that getting our infrastructure up to good shape is a high priority, and especially Commissioner Lawson, Withington, Thompson. So appreciate everybody's work on that, and glad we're making some progress. I have a similar question to Commissioner Wagner, which is, so obviously we all pray and hope to God that the conflict in the Middle East comes to a resolution pretty quickly. But if for whatever reason that shouldn't bear out, and you know, oil does go to 150, 175, something like that, is that going to impact us this season? And if so, kind of when and how much?
It very could well. Usually the contractor, you know, when a contractor bids a project, if there's risk, they'll bid high, right? And so what we do on asphalt is we have what's called an asphalt index, and it's a monthly change nationwide. So when they bid it, there's an asphalt index, and then when they come time to build it, there's an asphalt index, so it could rise. So we could see from what the 2.7 million, there could be an additional fees. On top of that 2.7 does contain a contingency, so it very well, we could see the effects of this year, yes. Fortunately, they're going to start here in April, so you know, hopefully we can get in before anything substantially hits.
Yeah, that seems to make sense. Do it. You know, get these purchases in before it gets worse.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask about the 94 road. First of all, it's crazy that it's been 32 years since 1994, but I guess that's the case.
Oh.
Yeah, the one that was still in pretty good shape that's getting maintenance for the first time. Any idea who we utilized at that time? Because it seems like they did a good job.
No, I do not.
Yeah. Any theory as to why it's held up so well? Just low traffic, or?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the conditions has to do with the subgrade preparation, drainage, solar radiation. You know, in one of my previous roles as director, we had some streets that were built like back in the 1930s that were just like, you know, they were old, but they did not get potholes like the ones that were built in 2005, 2006. So it really depends on the contractor back then and how they work the subgrade, and like I said, there's a lot of factors that go into life of the pavement. So
yeah,
but I don't know who.
Well, I support doing whatever they did to make it last longer. So I don't know what kind of innovation exists there, but you know, obviously that would be great to extend the life, because this stuff is expensive, costs lots of millions of dollars. So to the extent that we can make the stuff last longer, you know, that's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate your work on it, and thank you.
Commissioner Lawson?
Well, you know, I'm the one that complains the most about the roads, but I want to tell you that since you have taken over, I have not gotten the complaints I had before. And it seems like when there is a complaint and I let you know about it, miraculously they shut up and everything's done properly. So I'm extremely pleased. Whatever we need to spend, it's one of those things. We don't have a choice. You know, if the pricing goes up, we have to do that. I do have one question for you. When, say you're doing a new road and it's all completed and done by someone other than our people, then does someone from your staff go out and check that road out and make sure that they did everything they did properly?
You're talking about like a new constructed road?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about like when a new road gets constructed?
No, I'm talking about like you come out, say take my road, okay?
So we're just milling, overlaying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be on site. Our people will be there.
Great,
right.
okay, great, because that didn't happen before, and
Yeah.
I think it's imperative that, you know, you have a hand, since it's our money that's going out there, that
Right.
you can make sure they do things right.
Right, and every truck that rolls onto the site that has asphalt in it, there's what they call a dump ticket. So when they're at the asphalt plant, they weigh themselves, and then they load asphalt, and then they weigh themselves, and then they get a ticket that talks about the type of asphalt and the temperature and the quality control.
Great.
And we get all that information so we can
Great.
verify it.
Great, I do appreciate you greatly, so thank you for
I
all you do.
appreciate that, thank you.
Commissioner Wagner?
Thank you. Move to approve 2026-89, 2026-90, 2026-91, and 2026-92.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2026 89, 90, 91, and 92. Further discussion? Commissioner Withington, excuse me.
Yeah, I've been waiting for several minutes to get called on, so thank you for
Well,
finally calling on.
you were in the queue, and you were in line where you
It
were
was
in line.
green for a while, but you never called on me, so thank you, Jerry.
No,
Hey,
well,
I just
no,
want to let
no,
you
no,
know,
no, no, hold
everybody
on.
that I talk
I
to
call
tells me
on
that you're doing a great
commissioners in the line.
job, so
Excuse me.
thank you so much for everything that you do.
Commissioner,
Jerry,
I call on commissioners
Jerry,
in the
my
line,
thing was green.
okay?
I turned it off to get re-recognized, so thank you. Anyway, I'm going to continue, Jerry. Hey, everybody that I've talked to has told me that you guys are doing a great job, that they've noticed so much improvement since the change in leadership out there. So thank you for everything that you guys do. You guys are doing a great job. So.
I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very well. I see no one else lined up in the queue, and just for the general information, I call on commissioners in the order in which they appear on the request list. I don't vary from that unless there is an overriding reason, and then I ask permission generally of whoever is in line.
If you go back and watch the video, Jerry, you can see that I was green and you never called on me.
Sure.
Watch the video, Jerry.
Do you have anything else you'd like? I will certainly recognize if you have further comments to
No,
make.
I told them what I needed to tell them. You guys are doing a heck of a job, so thank you.
You're finished then. Very good. Commissioner Wagner, I see no one else wishing to be recognized. You have the motion on the floor. You are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
That brings us to, thank you very much, sir. That brings us to 2026-93, Mr. Administrator.
Yes, 2026-93, approval of proposal for the Collins Road Bridge Expansion Joint Replacement Project with She Digs It. We have our Road and Bridge Director, Tom Degenhardt, to speak additional information.
Sorry about that. You've got two more to do here, and I I didn't realize that you were such a busy fellow this evening, but please proceed.
Thank you. Resolution 2026-93 is for replacement of the expansion joints on the end abutments of Collins Road Bridge on Smithville Lake. We reached out to our three contractors on the term of supply contract that was approved by Resolution 2025-16. Got bids from all three of them. She Digs It was the lowest and best bidder. The contract award amount to $170,000, which also includes some contingency. As they remove these joints, there may be some spalled concrete under there, so we've added a contingency just for such a event. And this was included in the 2026 budget. The contractor, the construction-wise, they will close down one lane of the bridge, keep one lane open. They'll have signals on either end, kind of like what they did on 140th Street when they repaired that bridge. So it won't shut down the bridge completely. We had originally planned on telling the contractor not to do it until after the recreation season. So we still, and they're willing to do that so they'd have a little less traffic, but that's our plan going forward. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Commissioner Withington, any question? Very well. Commissioner Wagner, excuse me? Commissioner Wagner, you are recognized.
Thank you. Move to approve 2026-93.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2026-93. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
That brings us to the next, and it would appear, final issue for our roads chief. 2026-94, Mr. Administrator.
Yes, 2026-94, approval of cooperative road agreement between Clay County, Missouri and the city of Smithville. We have Tom Degenhardt, Road and Bridge Director, to speak additional information regarding it.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Again, Tom Degenhardt, Road and Bridge Director. Resolution 2026-94 is for the shared road maintenance agreement with the city of Smithville. There was an original agreement with Smithville that was approved by the commission back in 2001-241. There was an updated agreement approved by Resolution 2010-267. The changes from the 2010 agreement include the following. Removing North Main between Northeast 180th Street and North 188th from the county ownership to being maintained and owned by the city of Smithville. Removing Northeast 176th Street between Thomas Lane and H.H. Lake Road from the county ownership to maintenance and ownership of the city of Smithville. And then there was an annexation by Smithville along Platte County Line Road. We already had an agreement or a agreement with Platte County dated back in 2020 that we will maintain Platte County Line Road, so we just kept that road in our inventory. So if you look at the map, on the map you'll see the yellow color outlined as the city of Smithville limits. The green lines are the county maintained roads. The blue lines are the Smithville maintained roads, and the red lines, there's two of them on there, are the ones that are being removed from the county to Smithville. The term for this agreement is an automatic renewal every 5 years. There is an allowance written to this agreement for the Road and Bridge Director and the Smithville Public Works Director to look at the roads and make changes based on annexations, and then the county administrator along with the Smithville City Administrator can approve these changes. And this agreement was approved by the Smithville City Council on Tuesday, the 24th, 2 days ago. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Withington.
I make a motion to approve 2026-94.
Motion's been made for the approval of 2026-94. Further discussion? Seeing none, you are recognized to close.
Close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Withington?
Yes.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
That brings us to the last issue on our regular agenda. That's 2026-95. Mr. Administrator.
Yes, good evening. Tonight we have 2026-95 as approval acceptance of an annual settlement of the county collector for the year ending February 28, 2026. And before our collector, Barbara Riley, begins, I wanted to try to give an update on some other items that impacts our collections. One of them is the SB 190 update. One of the things that's coming to an end next week is our opening for new applications and renewals. And I'll give you a couple. We've also been reaching out. Our staff has to senior centers, as well as other places through our social media and things like that. But I want to give you some numbers that we've got thus far. As far as new applications in person and online, we had a total of 3,318 new applicants for the SB 190. As far as renewals, we have a total of 16,312. That's about 740 less than what you have renewal-wise, but we still have some time with that regarding that one. But that gives you a total of just over close to 19,600 in total. So you got 3,000 new, 3,300 new this year, and about 1,600 of the previous ones have renewed for that. 3,318 new applications. And if that one was pretty divided between in-person and online. So we do see there's some activity online as far as renewals, as well as doing in-person. And the same thing when it came to renewals applications, about 10,000 was done online and about 6,000 was done in person. So a lot of activity in person, but also a lot of activity online, which is beneficial to those that we're trying to provide that opportunity for. The other one regarding that one is another update you received regarding a item with Smithfield School District. You got a memo from our auditors regarding that one. We reached out to Smithfield School District and working with the collector's office on sending out updated bills to each of those that were impacted. There's about 271 residents that were impacted with their tax bills that were calculated incorrectly, but now will be sent out to them with the corrected amounts in the coming days. So a couple of updates on that one. I'll let our collector give you the final end report, but I want to give those two updates to you tonight.
Please proceed.
Collector, I'm presenting to you the resolution 2026-95. This is our annual report of our settlement as of February the 28th, 2026. Do I have any questions? Is there anything you need information or?
Commissioner Wagner.
Barbara, you're very compelling. I move to approve 2026-95.
Motion has been made for the approval of 2026-95. Further discussion. Yeah, I had some concerns. We've discussed this as far as the situation with some of the bills that went out and they are incorrect. I think I would like to know more about where exactly, the mistake may lie. But it sounds, if the numbers I'm hearing are correct, it could mean hundreds and in some cases thousands of dollars to some taxpayers. That being the case, I think I would suggest, and I suggest this right now, I don't insist on it, but I would suggest that we as commissioners think in terms of how we are going to address that. It seems to me we've seen a long line of people come before this with property tax issues, and when they were not under compliance as far as the law goes, they were not given relief. We have had a lot of discussion on how fair that may or may not be. However, the constraints of the law were certainly there. It seems to me that if we are going to, if it is determined that the mistake is indeed on the part of the county, I think we should be considering ways to make those citizens whole. We're talking about people who are participants in the 190 program. It would end up being a substantial amount of money, and it would be difficult for the county to do. But I think it should be considered, because when a citizen comes here and appeals their property tax, and we find it not to be valid under the law, it doesn't matter whether they can afford it or not. And I don't say that with any joy. Those citizens are made to actually pay that money regardless of how they get it. It is kind of regarded as not our affair. If we are going to put citizens in a position because of an error on our part that might well put them in a difficult position because they anticipated when they get a bill, they assumed that it was correct. What I'm saying is we should certainly determine exactly what the situation is, and once we have determined that, I would suggest that we, at the very, very least, examine what it would take for us to make those citizens whole. Because this is the kind of a thing that, it's a great program, and I appreciate the hard work of staff, and I appreciate the intent behind it. And it's a great program, and it's where it needs to be. However, I'm very much of a mind that if through a taxation error we are harming citizens, that we apply a similar standard to ourselves that we would apply to those citizens. So that's something that I would like to get more information before I recommend any more strongly than that. But I think that is something that is a consideration that we should be would be aware of, and certainly see what it is that we could do and how it is that we could make that happen. Commissioner Lawson.
Well, my understanding was, Barbara always tells us when those people come, if it is our mistake, we will take care of it. So in that vein, if any of those people come and say, hey, wait a minute, you guys are the ones that screwed this up, and I really should have only been this much and I was this, then we take care of it because it was a county problem. So I think that alleviates any difficulty that we would have, along those lines.
It would certainly alleviate any, and I think there is a plan that would extend that, because it would certainly apply to interest and penalty.
Yeah.
But I mean,
definitely.
if you are someone on a limited income and you had planned to pay, say, $1,000, and surprise, surprise, you're 500 short, and you've got to come up with $500. It's not a very easy thing, and I think we should be considering, because if it went the other way, we would certainly expect the taxpayer to pay that money. So, I'm just saying that we should. I would like to see us examine it more, and I think that if we have through error harmed a citizen, in the course of their taxes, that we should at least look at. I'm not saying we should necessarily do it, but we should at least be looking at how it is that we might be able to make them whole. It goes without saying that we also would need to examine the source of that error and certainly take steps to let it happen again, because we have a good professional staff, and I have every confidence that is already in place. So that doesn't cross my mind as something that is a problem. I think that part of the problem is being repaired. What concerns me is a senior getting a bill, paying the bill in good faith, and then having to come up with hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in addition.
Yeah.
That is a very difficult position to be in.
Probably they can give us some kind of a report that says, these are the number of people, this is what happened.
Yes.
And then I think we sit down and try to resolve how can we take care of it. But right now, it's kind of a little bit of an unknown until we get that all back.
I totally agree with you that we need to have facts in hand and solid numbers in hand. What I'm saying is, this should be something we should be considering if we are harming taxpayers, how we basically fix the harm that we may have inadvertently done. Did you have anything else, Commissioner, before I move on? Commissioner Lawson, do you have anything? No, I was going to go to Commissioner Withington, but I want to make sure you were finished. Commissioner Withington.
Yeah, no, I agree with Commissioner Lawson. If this is our mistake, we need to own it. But we're 7 months out from when the next tax bill is going to go. Can we get like monthly updates?
That'd be great.
Yeah, can we get monthly updates going forward to make sure that we're not going to have any more problems this coming year?
Let me make sure, when you say monthly updates, are you saying a collector's report?
I want to know that, I want to know where we're at and that we're not going to have any screw-ups like we did this past year. That's all I'm saying. You
Okay,
know.
well, I don't mind monthly updates, but I can tell you one thing we've done this week, and as of today, was that we had the software consultants send in 2 people to come work directly with our staff. So we don't mind the monthly updates, that'd be fine. But I want to speak to Commissioner Nolte's request. We're not making anyone whole because they did not miss out on any of their finances. So I want to make sure you understand that. What was done was the fact they were undercharged, so the one who would be made whole would be the school district. So if we did any financing, that would mean we'd be taking out of our coffers to pay something, because as a pass-through, as a collector, which is what we do, we collect and then pass through, that would mean we would take out of our own coffers to make that. So as far as making any of our citizens whole, that's not this case, because they haven't spent any of those funds. What it was, they were undercharged for what they should have been charged for more for. So in that case, what we'd be doing is making the school district whole by taking money out of our own coffers to give to them. So I want to make sure that when we say make whole, we're not taking that. So majority of these bills, all of them were aware that they probably should have been charged more regarding that, because they have been charged. But when you go through your SB 190, which we've explained on several occasions, we did a manual processing. In that manual processing, we made a manual mistake. Does happen. They're very human. In that, we found that mistake and corrected that mistake, and now we're going to set on a bill that would give them 60 days to pay that back with that. There will be some that will come back, and we have to make a decision regarding that one. So that's why I want to make sure we understand that we're not taking from anyone because they haven't provided it. What they did provide was a payment, which was a partial amount that what should have been provided more. That was a mistake on our end. And if we want to decide to do that differently, we can try that. But to me, it's not the same as someone coming in who paid a bill and has to have those fees. Those are 2 different scenarios regarding this one. So I just want to make sure that was clear to the commission.
I am clear on that, and I do take your point that the idea of the phrase "making them whole" is probably not the most accurate phrase. I apologize for the sort of shorthand that I was using there, but it brings us back to the point. This sounds a little bit like the road that Jackson County went down, and so I am highly sensitive to that particular. And I don't agree with the way Jackson County treated their taxpayers, and I would not like to see us go down a similar path.
And we're nowhere near Jackson County. I would say this, this is the very first time SB 190 has ever been utilized. And from talking directly to this at a passionate plea, which Barbara was part of my direction with the software that we have for over 20 years, ultimately we stretched them to their limits. They've never done this before. So you got staff who's never done it before. Along with that, this is the first time the state of Missouri ever had an SB 190 credit. So the things they're seeing are first times. I've asked my staff, how many times has this been before the commission, or have you seen this in their 20+ years of experience? And none of them have. So I want that to be, when you start to think about what things are being done, that we're not trying to set a precedence of not being good at what we do. We're trying to take a situation that we were handed to make it better. And going forward, we're going to change what we do. One thing we already done, we have a RFP out for software, and that is due next week, which is 31st. The other thing is we're working directly with our current software provider to help with what items are going there. When they say they're stretching that limit, we understand that. We can't tell you to do no more when you got a software that you can't use because it doesn't do what we needed to do. So that means we have to do things manually, which is what we're doing. So we're doing things parallel to try to make sure we provide what we need to our citizens. And most of all, back to the other areas. So we got to distribute those funds that we collected to the different entities, and that's our next task, to try to get those funds out to all of them and make sure we've done that. And after that, we got to figure out as far as going forward for 2026. And as far as Commissioner Whittington's request, no problem in all giving the updates. That's what I've been trying to do each time I come and do comments regarding where we are, what we're doing with our SB 190 and things we're doing if in that case.
Yeah, I
So-
appreciate that. Thank you, Damon.
Like I say, and what I'm saying basically is, I think that consideration should be on the table. I think that we should be looking at that as a possibility. And I take your point. The thing is, yes, first time through, we have a good professional staff. They do a great job. Everybody makes mistakes. My concern is that when we make a mistake that could be very impactful on a citizen, how do we address it? Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you. Covered a lot of things I probably would have asked. So the only thing I will ask is RFP, so this is to you, Damon, I think. RFP is due, or responses are due on the 31st. When would you expect that contract to come before this body? Because I think that's where we'll have our opportunity to kind of understand.
Probably more early May.
Early May.
Because it'll take us a little time to review those.
Sure.
Have interviews, things of that sort, and then come back to with a proposal of what that would look like.
Sure, no, that's fine, and the reason I ask is just simply, I think that's when whoever is recommended gets to come before us, and then they get in front of our little firing squad to ask them, can you do what you say you're going to do? Well, let's not go that far, but probably. But it does seem to me that once they come in, then there is value to those monthly updates, because then it is all about the preparation of that vendor to be able to do and to make sure that they're getting to where they said they were going to get to. So
yeah, and at that time too, we'll probably have to, as staff, give you a parallel, because more than likely, whatever you do, to take the amount of years of information you've gathered within your current collection system, transfer that over to whatever the system may be, whichever one we go with. That will take time too, and knowing that right up on us between June and August, you got certain requirements regarding our assessor. Then after that August time frame, we start to do our what are those reviews? But ultimately, our tax reviews when we have our hearings, and then from there we got to get. So we'll have parallel things that still provide us those tax bills.
Well, that suggests to me that whether that's presented with the contract or in another form, in another way, I do think it makes sense to be able to put that calendar out there for us, because then it tells us, these are the things that should be happening at this time. Makes it a little easier for us to have that level of accountability, as opposed to just kind of hearing what's up. Just a thought, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, that would be done.
Further discussion? Did you make a motion already? I kind of lost track in the hoopla.
I did.
Well,
it was so compelling that I had to just do it right away.
I appreciate your zeal. With that, and with equal zeal, you are recognized to close.
I close.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Wagner.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Yes.
Commissioner Withington.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. That brings us to County Commissioner comments. Mr. Administrator. I'm sorry, I did say County Administrator comments. I hope I didn't get a little off the track there.
No, you're fine. That's County Administrator comments next. A couple items. One is our next meeting is April 9th. On that same date is our Review Commission will have their 4th meeting. It'll be from 4 to 5:30 that day. Due to a conflict, we have to do the meetings on the same day. Lucky me and Kevin. But at that time, we'll take up Articles 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are regarding non-elected offices in administrative department and organizations. And I say the 4th meeting The other thing is that some of the items have continued on, and we'll have to come back and revisit those. But the objective is to try to have 5 meetings, cover each of the items at least once, and then we'll come back with other items that might come from that. I would say each of the meetings have been pretty productive. The one we had yesterday lasted until close to about 8 o'clock. A lot of good discussion. But I would say the commission themselves, they come prepared. And, you know, as we know, it's a volunteer commission, and I think they do a good job of trying to prepare, but also come prepared and insightful regarding the items within the Constitution. The other one we have is April 1st is our Citizens Academy, first night of that meeting, and that will go on for 7 meetings. So that'd be it for me.
Thank you. That brings us to Commissioner comments. Commissioner Carpenter?
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll miss you all next week. Hope everybody has a good spring break, especially those who have kids in the district or an association of the district. And, you know, like I said last week, I just think it's important to acknowledge that we've got thousands of troops in harm's way and thousands more on their way. And until we've achieved peace again there, I think we ought to continue to acknowledge that both here in this room and in all rooms like this, and extend our gratitude to the people who are serving our country and putting their life on the line to do so, and I am grateful to them. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
I will also miss everybody next week because I did not bring Easter eggs and egg the house yet. So I'm very sad that I did not do that this week, but it seems a little early. But I want everyone to have a very safe and happy spring break, yes, if you go somewhere fun, and have a good Easter. And eat lots of ham if that's your thing, and get eggs. And maybe the Easter Bunny will stop by this week. We'll see.
Hope springs eternal. Commissioner Wagner?
Thank you. It was a hot day today, so I'm going to try to tell a cool story real fast. Like how I did that? I'm sorry. As some know, I have had the pleasure of being a part of a group of about 10 volunteers who have been working hard to work on the America 250, but for Clay County. And our group of volunteers, who thankfully have been supported by Missouri Humanities, have come forward with a citizenship challenge. And for those who don't know, that is an opportunity for adults and students to do a variety of tasks to show their zeal for citizenship. And if they do that, they receive a challenge coin. This week has been a very great week because on Monday we had 8, I believe 8th graders from Antioch Middle School who went to the Gladstone City Council meeting and got challenge coins for their work that they've been doing. Just yesterday, I, along with, Harold Phillips, councilperson in Liberty, Les Smith, mayor in Gladstone, and several others, went to the Shoal Creek Elementary, and 96 first graders and 6 teachers received their coin. And the whole purpose of all this is to create more engaged citizens. And what can be better than having young people showing their engagement right now, because hopefully that means that is something they are going to carry forward into adulthood. So it was just some great opportunities to see the future, embrace what being an American is all about, and certainly hope to see many, many more as we get to the 4th of July. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lawson?
Good work. You're such a special person.
That's right.
Tracy, I want to thank you for coming forward and talking about the TIF situation. The only thing I wanted to say was, you're thinking about all of this money. I was interested in how you talked about the benefit of had we been able to get that money that weren't, in the TIF situation. I remember that when all we tried to do was give a small group of people, seniors, a break on their taxes, and you think we were going to shut down the schools. But look, in the TIF environment, how much money those schools could be getting, how much money we could be getting for things like roads and bridges or whatever it might be. But if you want to just concentrate on schools, which are a very important thing in this county, huge amounts of money, and yet we're not able to do that. I think that, you know, after I saw the way people reacted to that, what we tried to do on the 190, I felt like they were going to be standing outside with ropes to hang us. But if it had been a larger group of people, I wouldn't have thought as much about it. But they're still getting taxes. You know, we're not doing away with the seniors' taxes. We're stabilizing them at a set amount, where this is money down the drain for us. You know, we can't even touch it in any way, shape, or form. And I have to say this. That is why I feel who sits on those TIF boards is one of the most viable things that we do. That whoever it is looks at it and says, well, now, this project can bring blah, blah number of people into work. It can do all these wonderful things. And yet, why give away all of that tax money? You know, it could be, well, we're going to do half, or kind of what was looked at for Royals or somebody like that. So I think that how we determine who sits on that board should never be something that is done in a political environment. I think that it needs to be hard thought, and who we put on there has the best interests of Clay County, number one. Number two, has a rich background that is going to make sure that the decisions that are made are also viable situations. So I've been disappointed at the way things went on the TIF board for both our TIF and for Smithfield TIF. But, you know, it's just one of those things, and I hope that as it progresses, that we look more cautiously at how we name people to those TIFs.
Commissioner Withington.
Yeah, no, I agree with Commissioner Lawson. The data center doesn't bother me. You know, I'm fine with data centers. They don't bother me at all. Problem is exactly what Commissioner Lawson said. We had this discussion last week. You look at these TIF boards, same names all over the place. We need bigger Rolodex, Jerry, on appointments. We need some fresh faces all across the county on these boards. And I didn't know until after our discussion last week that Jennifer Justice was also removed from the Smithville TIF board. I checked my email. I don't see any emails stating she was removed and who replaced her. So that's, again, something done in secret. So I would like to see us be more transparent on these TIF board appointments. I'd like to see us get some fresh faces. After the discussion last week, Jay and Joanne both asked for Mark's qualifications. Jerry said that he was going to have to look at the resume. I sent Jerry an email Friday, sent him another email Wednesday. To date, have not received any information on the qualifications for Mark. It's been 7 days now, so hopefully in 2 weeks when we reconvene, that'll be 21 days. Hopefully Jerry will have time to look at the resume then. But also had several people contact me regarding the clerk's office in Damon and SB 190. They said the clerk's doing a great job. Her office was amazing. Damon, one guy told me that you were the crown jewel of our of our commission's decisions over the last couple years. But that got me to thinking about, you know, a lot of the things. Damon, you were a great hire, but you know, John, you pushed through. You led the way on prevailing wage and worker rights. Megan, you pushed through the maternity and paternity leave for making us an employer of choice. Jay led the way on deputy pay raises. Joanne, you led the way on SB 190, and, we've got a great group of people. We've accomplished a lot, and can't wait to see what the rest of us accomplish over the next couple months, years.
Thank you. I do have a couple of comments. First off, one of the shorter one, and that is we had a board meeting of the EDC. I was the only commissioner in attendance, and so I have taken materials from that and I've forwarded them to a county administrator so that he can then forward them to commissioners for their evaluation. The second thing is when we're talking about, we were talking about the Mr. McCullough's qualifications. The reason that I wanted to make those comments here was because it seemed to me that when a question is asked, it is generally preferable to make your answers in the same form in which those questions were asked, and that, in this case, is a public forum. So, I think first category, first thought is the economic development and leadership experience. Mr. McCullough led a multi-state expansion and development initiatives for FedEx. He oversaw site selection, facility development, relocation, and infrastructure alignment across Missouri, Illinois, Nevada, California, Colorado. Supported the logistics and infrastructure expansion for Sun Microsystems, HP, Cisco, Dell, Ford, and GM. Under the heading of Banking and Community Investment Leadership, he was the marketing president of North California Bank of America. He directed the operations, expansion, and consolidation and reinvestment strategies across 30-plus communities. He led financing and revitalization efforts in urban, rural, and underserved markets, managed capital deployment tied to economic growth, community development, and small business expansion. Small business expansion is something that I regard as particularly important. Public-private development impact, experience supporting anchor tenant attraction, industrial and logistical ecosystems and development, free trade zone relocation, saving businesses millions annually, involvement in developmental. And by the way, I would hasten to add that we here in this area have one of the largest collection of free trade zones, which are a very great advantage when it comes to our ability to compete overseas with those who we are trading with. Involvement in developing and supporting transportation, maintenance, and mechanical services, hospitality, meaning obviously hotels and restaurants, and regional supply chain infrastructure. His experience is understanding of how major employers evaluate markets. Obviously, that has a lot to do with attraction of new businesses. Focused on long-term tax-based growth versus short-term transactions, ability to evaluate job creation impact, infrastructure demands, and economic sustainability. Those are some of what I have here. Appreciate the opportunity to go ahead and outline some of his qualifications. I think that pretty much answers the questions that were raised, at least I would hope so. With that, we are adjourned. What were you asking for? Go ahead.